You know he's back when you see him. You know he's back.
I missed you guys.
Oh.
I missed you guys so much. Yeah, man.
They're already calling for my son for guest host instead of you.
I'm guessing the kids made an appearance while I was gone.
Yeah, in one of the morning meditations, Maddie barged in and talked about his Legos for a minute, and then said the Hail Mary for everyone, and then left.
Oh, that's cool. I'll tell you, I was looking. So while we were in Italy, well, before we even get started, all right, so there are other pilgrims in the chat. I'm sure there has to be because I told them all they better come. This is Tara. Tara Anderson's here. So Tara's Nicole's new bestie.
Yep.
Tara and Nicole, they're like, forget it, inseparable. So while I was there, I was looking for like a Saint Matthias or Saint Philomena. Like I was looking for a Saint Ignatius. I was trying to find something for your kids while I was there, and I wanted to send them something, and I didn't see any of that. I was looking for some Saint Thomas stuff. I didn't see any Saint Thomas Aquinas for you, Nick.
Rip.
I did get you guys something.
So you sent us Blessed Carlo Acutis stuff?
Well, you're getting some Blessed Carlo Acutis because me and Mary Teresa were praying to the Carlo Acutis for you.
You want to know something funny? So today I was looking through your Twitter photos, your Twitter media for pictures to put in the thumbnail, right? And one of the photos was the healthcare CEO shooter, Luigi. And the next photo was Carlo Acutis. And they look a lot alike.
Oh, man. Listen, I will say this. We saw Carlo Acutis's body. Like and some of the pilgrims got very emotional there. You want to know what's another interesting thing is we have one black fan, right? We have one black listener.
We're not racist, guys. We have a black fan.
And he came on the pilgrimage. His name is Kanomi. And we go to Rome, right? And when you're in Rome, there's a lot of migrants in Rome. And a lot of them are African, right? And as soon as you get there, they're selling you stuff and trying to ask you for money. Now, Kanomi got there late. So we got to the airport. We get to the airport and we hit the catacombs right away. And Kanomi missed his flight. So he ends up coming a few hours later than everybody else. And we're in Rome. And is my mic popping?
It's
not really
great. It's not good.
Is it popping?
It's not terrible.
It's turning red. So
wait, hold on. People
might be popping.
Whoa. Anthony, are you aware of this?
Yeah, your wife's in the chat.
Shut down the Wi-Fi now.
So we get there and a black guy comes up to me and he tries to sell me some like African garb.
True, cigar mode. So true.
The guy tries to sell me some African garb, and I'm like, I'm in Rome. If I wanted African stuff, I would go to Africa. Then 2 seconds later, Kanomi comes over, and I think he's another African guy trying to sell me something.
Oh no, Anthony.
You know, I'm not going to blame Anthony.
I'm like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. He's like, Anthony. I'm like, how's this guy know my name? What's going on here? I'm so confused.
Oh my gosh. This went off the rails really quick.
So confused because the black guy knew my name. I was like, what is going on? He wound up, man, when I tell you, it was very interesting. We had a black African from Nigeria who lives in Canada, and we had a white Canadian who lives in Nairobi. We're on the pilgrimage. It's a very diverse group, like people from all over. The people that came from our show, like there was a lot of young guys there, all in there, like from 29 to 40. There was like 6 or 7 of us.
I got some bad news. I don't think that's all that young anymore, bud.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. Like I'm just saying, like our audience was, all millennials basically that came, and so all right. So we get there, we hit the ground running. We went right into the catacombs. You know my name, you're black. You guys, listen, we're keeping this show on the
That's what you said. Almost literally.
He's quoting.
So true, Alex. Neither does
you
Anthony.
Guys, my wife came. My wife had an amazing time there too. yeah. So all right. So we hit the catacombs. The catacombs were such a jarring experience, man. Like just going down, there was 300,000 Christians buried in those catacombs. Like I never realized how grand the scope of the catacombs were, you know. And
That is a lot.
but the first day, like we leave and we left New York at 4 p.m. and you get to Rome at 6 a.m., but that's really midnight here. And I slept for like an hour on the plane. I just couldn't sleep. So we get there and I'm on zero sleep, but it's 6 a.m. there. And Patrick had us running from like go time. Like that was it. We're going, and we hit our first tour. And we were doing 2 tours a day. But at the end of that first day, we were so exhausted from the amount of walking we did. And we get back to the hotel, we have dinner, and instead of going to bed, we break out the wine. We stayed up late.
So you're there tired, you're walking all over the place, probably out of breath. And what's your first instinct? I should get some Italian cigarettes.
Oh no, the cigarettes, we'll get into that. I took 2 packs of cigarettes with me thinking like, all right, this will last me 2 weeks. Like we'll have a cigarette at the dinner on occasion. I was full blown smoking on this trip. It was terrible. But the interesting thing was the priest that was supposed to come with us, his mother, something happened with his mother. His mother got sick, so we didn't have a priest on this trip.
Oh no.
And what the dynamic changed a bit because it wound up being a lot of drinking. And I don't think I was expecting that. I didn't think we would be up every night drinking. So essentially from the night we got there, pretty much every single night, we stayed up late, but not like getting drunk or anything, just sitting up, having wine until late in the night and talking to
Italy.
everybody.
That's what everyone does, right?
Italians.
So,
man.
yeah. So and the lack of sleep really did catch up with me when I got home, but there was so many interesting things about this. The first, seeing the Pope. Okay. Seeing the Pope. It's
How
like
did Patrick feel about that one?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, what would that conversation be like? If like, hey, Pat, look at that guy.
So you're Catholic, you know, I'm a cradle Catholic. Seeing the Pope should be like an amazing experience as a cradle Catholic. We're second row, dude. Like we go there and we're sitting in the second row for a papal audience, and I'm like, but it's Francis.
But it's like this was really wasted.
Like, it's Francis. Like, who cares? You know, it was.
Man, if he had called you over and been like, "We got to talk."
So the Catholic layman he was on the pilgrimage. He actually has a YouTube channel called The Catholic Layman. So if you guys want to check that out, go subscribe to his channel. Before we even get started, though, my Yeti came.
Oh, cool. That looks nice.
And it is amazing.
Can we maybe kill it on the merch a little?
Why?
Like, I've gotten like 6 emails in the last week of people who have been waiting like 2 to 3 months for merch from that place.
Why is that?
Some of the t-shirts, I guess, are I don't know. I'm working with it, but
this you ordered 2 weeks ago and I got it.
I know some of the stuff is fine. The cups are fine. I guess some of the t-shirts, I don't know if they're having production issues or what.
All right. Maybe they're just in such high demand.
Could be.
Yeah, you guys can go to our merch store and get that. But let me think how to explain to you what it's like going.
Yeah.
So we did 4 days in Rome, right? And so Rome is something that, oh man, you can't imagine that every corner you turn around, you're just seeing some ancient thing. Like you see the Temple of Minerva, you're seeing the Triumph Arch of Constantine,
the Hall of Paul VI.
I didn't see that actually. I actually didn't see that. We did see the Chair of Peter though, like the actual Chair of Peter, which is a gift from like King Stephen in the 1700s or 1800s or something. It was pretty cool. But just you're seeing something so beyond your comprehension. And we went in December, And going in December, I thought it was going to be rough. I wasn't sure about the weather. We went there. It was 60 degrees every day, beautiful weather, and no tourists, because who goes to Rome in Advent, right? It's just not tourist season. So we didn't wait online for anything. Like the tour guide we had in Rome, her name was Federica. She was so awesome. This girl took us through Rome, and like, she was very well versed in medieval Catholicism. Really understood like the Alexander VI, Julius II era.
Okay.
And when I told her I knew Julius II was Della Rovere, she like freaked out. She was like, 25 years, nobody's ever known that was Della. I'm like, you don't
Anthony's
understand.
like, no one's ever watched that.
I watched the Showtime show. Don't you understand? So so Rome was just like the grandeur of it, and seeing the ancient ruins everywhere you go. There's ancient ruins and stuff. It was just unbelievable. And going into St. Peter's, seeing the Pietà, like these things that you've heard about, you've seen pictures of. When you see them in person, it really is stunning, man. It floors you, right? When we left Rome and we went to Assisi, the guide that we had who took us through Assisi and toured us through St. Francis, this guy had a devotion to St. Francis. And when you get taken around, the difference in Federica and him, we loved Federica, but you couldn't tell if she was like a devout Catholic. She was very well versed in the history of it, but you just couldn't tell if she like believed it and she was like a devout Catholic. When we went to Assisi, the guy Alessandro had a devotion to St. Francis, and there was something about the way he spoke that you felt like you had St. Francis taking you on this tour. And so we spent 4 days with that guy. By the end of it, people were crying, like when he left. And he brought the saints to life, right? Like this whole trip is basically us visiting the saints, which is why I wanted to title the episode this, because if anything I got from this thing is the saints actually bring the faith to life. And until you encounter relics and stuff like that, like we're in America, we don't have anything like this. Like everywhere we went in Assisi, there was another relic. You had St. Francis's tunic. We prayed at the tomb of St. Francis. I'm praying by Father Leone's tomb, and just everywhere you went, Assisi was like Catholic Disneyland. That's the only way I can explain it. Like it's this quaint little city built in the Middle Ages or even earlier, in the middle of a country, like countryland. It was so intense to experience that. But as you're going through and you're seeing the grandeur of these cathedrals, Rob, there's nothing in America like this. Like I've been to St. Pat's in New York City. I've been to the DC Cathedral, like the National Cathedral. There is nothing like these cathedrals.
The DC Catholic Cathedral or the National Cathedral?
Aren't they? No,
the National Cathedral is Episcopalian.
No. The DC Catholic
the
Cathedral,
Basilica.
like the Basilica in DC, which is, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. And St. Pat's is beautiful too. It's a Gothic cathedral. It's gorgeous. There's nothing like anything we saw there, man. Like we went, and when you go into the Duomo di Orvieto, like I'm going to show you guys a couple of little things that we saw there. Like when you walk into the Duomo in Orvieto and you walk into that Last Judgment scene, you feel like you're at the Last Judgment. Like it just, the vibrancy of that scene, and you see the Antichrist with the devil sliding his arm inside the sleeve of the Antichrist, and then you see the resurrection of the damned, and then you see the resurrection of the saved coming up out of their graves. It's such a famous painting, but seeing it in person is just something else. And seeing a city properly ordered, where the cathedral is the highest point, and you see a culture and a civilization properly ordered and built by people who actually believe this faith. It was really spectacular, man, because I live in New York, where the tallest building is the Trade Center, because everybody's God is money.
Yeah.
And to really to see a city properly ordered, it made you realize that everything that's going on today, like even the craziness in the church today, it's all part of God's plan right now. Like, I don't care what's going on with Francis. I don't care about any of that. You see what proper Christendom can do. It forms the mind and heart properly, and you get a well-ordered civilization from it. So we may be disordered right now, but there's something going on where God is allowing it for some reason. Going into these cathedrals, you go in, and if you think about when King Charles had his coronation, like the regular people of England couldn't just go to that coronation, right? Like, you had to be a dignitary, you have to be, you have to be a head of state, or you have to be royalty to go to that coronation. When you walk into these cathedrals, they're castles, and they're castles to the King of Kings, and it's really ours. Like, it's our inheritance. You really understand why these things were built, because they were built for us, for the hundreds of generations that would come after they were built, to really feel like they're going into the kingdom. Like, you see the colonization of the kingdom of heaven on earth. It was just something I wasn't expecting to really comprehend, but it was just unbelievable. Then there was the baffling things about Italy. Every toilet is different, and almost every bathroom has something that doesn't work. I was baffled by the incompetence of the Italian plumbing system.
It's Africa. What do you expect, man?
I'll give you an example. So we go to Loreto, and okay, man, I have to show you guys some stuff, because in Loreto you're going to, and it's the Holy House of Loreto, which is the house that Mary, the angel Gabriel, came to Mary and gives her, it gives her the message that, yeah. So the legend is that angels carried it from Jerusalem during the Crusades and brought it to Loreto. So
through Croatia, there's a spot in Croatia that is venerated as the spot it touched down shortly.
Yep. and then goes to Loreto. This is the marble screen in front of the actual wall. So it's really just 3 walls that are there. Mm-hmm. And so we go and see this
funny construction from first century Judea, better than modern Italian plumbing.
Oh, for sure. So all right, so we go. Well, I'll bring you guys through some of this stuff, but so we leave this, and Nicole had to use the bathroom, so we go to like some little cafe, and she goes to use the bathroom, and she goes in, and every toilet flushes different, and there's a cable in there, and she pulls the cable, but the cable is for if an old person gets trapped in the bathroom, they pull the cable and an alarm goes off.
Oh no.
So the whole restaurant has this alarm blaring.
Oh no!
The woman behind the counter had to go and rescue Nicole from the bathroom.
Rip.
Wow.
Nicole walks out mortified, like, "Oh my god." Then there was another instance that was really funny. We had this kid Patrick was with us. We called him Little Patrick the whole time to not confuse him with Big Patrick.
Poor little Patrick.
And we go to Siena while we were in Siena, and he was praying in one of like the I don't know what you would call it. Like, it was a little sanctuary he was praying in, and it turns out it was St. Catherine's kitchen, and they left for siesta and locked it with him in there. And we had to leave to go to Florence and catch a tour. So we had to leave him behind.
There's Konami.
There he is. There's Konami. No wonder the hotel staff came to my room.
I mean, I guess you could be trapped in worse places.
Well, that's what we said. So we actually,
just chilling in St. Catherine's kitchen for a while.
Yeah, I'd rather than doing that in some crazy place.
Bobby's in the chat. Bobby told him, he's like, you need, like, that woman tried to kidnap you, man. Like, you need to have a devotion to St. Catherine. Like, that's not by accident. And not just that, we left for the tour to go to Florence, and when we get to Florence, it was pouring rain, and we were all saturated, and we're like, St. Catherine tried to prevent you from going and getting stuck in the rain Like she was trying to warn you, you know.
So Italians take their midday naps pretty seriously, huh?
Oh man, it's pretty frustrating when you want to get something and everything is closed. It's
Really?
like, yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Dang. Is there like a certain time that like culturally they all do it, or is it kind of just up to the
basically
person?
from like 12 to 2, 11:30 to
Dang.
2. The other thing is coffee culture is insane there. Their coffee culture is just out of control. You could have a cappuccino in the morning. If you order one after 12, they look at you like you have 3 heads.
What, really?
Yeah,
well, I suppose they switched to wine by 10 or 11, right?
It's something to do with your digestion, and they're like, I did not. Okay, so let me tell you about Florence real quick. Everywhere we went throughout this tour, you saw the proper ordering of saints and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you go to Florence, Florence is the money center.
Medicis,
the Medicis, and they're dealing with usury and stuff like that, right? Oh, that's right. I should say. Okay, there was a dude. The restaurant you go to, there's no top of the toilet seat because they don't want you going to the bathroom. Like they don't want you to drop in a deuce at the restaurant, so they remove the top toilet section so you don't want to sit on it. And there's a picture of a grenade with an X through it.
What?
So you don't
wait. You mean like the actual toilet seat is gone?
The toilet seat is just gone.
The thing you sit on?
Yes. So I'm telling you, the bathrooms in Italy are so bonkers.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go over anytime soon.
Dude, I had such a fun time with Bobby, man. He just that's never stopped me. The ladies were doing a lot of squatting over the toilets. I heard. I don't know. I think they were even doing it in the women's rooms. But all right, so Florence, there's something so disordered about the Church of Santa Croce. So when you go there, there's tombs in the ground. You walk over people's tombs, but they're not saints. They're the wealthy of Florence. Mm-hmm. You go there and you see the tomb of Machiavelli. You don't see tombs of saints. You see Michelangelo. You do see Dante, and Dante's not a saint, but I mean he wrote the Divine Comedy. I mean he should and
Divine Comedy. That's what we should have called this show.
There were even the artwork, they would put the Medicis above Our Lady. Like it was blasphemous.
Really?
Some of the stuff. Yeah, and it was really disordered. The Duomo in Florence, I never saw a more beautiful exterior. And you're like, I have to get in this thing. I have to see what's inside, especially after going through Rome and seeing St. Peter's and seeing Orvieto. Like you see these places and you think you're going to go inside and see this stunning artwork and all this stuff. You go in and it's just an open, empty hall with a couple
the Duomo in Florence.
The Duomo in Florence, and they explained it as like they wanted the exterior beauty to draw you in, and then it be contemplative when you go inside. Like, so it was interesting. Florence.
Medici just ran out of money.
That's possible too.
They were like, scramble, think for a good pious reason.
They had the Jewish
contemplation.
They had the Jewish star in a couple of places.
In Florence?
The Star of David, like on their churches. And I'm like, is that because they were mixed up in usury and stuff? Like,
could be because they were mixed up with the Jewish bankers.
Well, it is somewhat common. Like, I mean, even here in Texas, like all the German churches around here usually have one, but it's most of the time it's like Star of Bethlehem. Like that's the idea behind it, as opposed to like the modern political thing, which we associate it with.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I couldn't tell if it was to placate, you know. I guess I don't know. It was the only place we saw it, really. That's the only reason I questioned it. There was something really amazing that happened when we were in Florence. I mean, that's kind of the end of the trip, so maybe I should back up a little bit. But
so it was first Rome, then Assisi, then Florence, right? Those were your
So it was Rome, then Lanciano.
Okay.
We went to Lanciano, then we went to San Giovanni Rotondo and saw Padre Pio.
How was that?
So,
I mean, was that pretty cool? Did you get to go see the body?
We got to see the body of Padre Pio. It was on display. It was amazing seeing where Padre Pio lived. But then at the end, they take you through and they let you watch this video, and the whole video is like, oh, the center we're going to take you to, the Padre Pio Center, and they start talking about the Rupnik art. So I skipped that. I just totally skipped the Rupnik Center. Like I didn't even go to it. And the few people that were with us, they went and they were just like, it was just appalling. Like it was just, they
they
felt
even still talk about it.
It's an old video, so they don't like, they talk about the Rupnik art like it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
In the video, it was really strange. You know, we had when we were in San Giovanni Rotondo, there was another tour from Texas there, and we wound up meeting up with this tour from Texas, and they had a priest, so we were able to celebrate mass with him. And then at the end of the day, when we would get back to the hotel at night, I roped them into hanging out until 1 a.m. and drinking with us too. It was just, but it went, look, the drinking, I think, I don't, I mean, it was clearly me getting everybody to drink. So I don't know if Patrick was taken back by that, because Patrick doesn't drink.
Oh, does he? He's a teetotaler.
Yeah, he doesn't drink. So I don't know if he was like, I don't know. I hope he wasn't mad. I mean, we had such a good time just bonding at night. Like we would just talk about different things, and it would always be about the faith. It wasn't like we were, getting into trouble or anything. We would always talk about the faith. We had the people from Texas like shared their conversion stories. Now the tour from Texas, they were very normie Novus Ordo, right? So like very normie, where they didn't even know the Rupnik stuff. Good. So like when we told them about the Rupnik art, like they were like, "Are you serious?" Like the guy Steve that was hanging out with Steven. I think he likes to be called Steven. I don't think he likes Steve. So, but Steven was
when
like,
has that ever stopped you?
That's true. But yeah, he like when we told him like of all the Rupnik allegations and stuff, he was like very taken back from it. We're working on it, Mrs. C. They were a beautiful group. Like they just had like a simple faith. They were from Texas and stuff. We had a lot of fun with them. Yeah, we called them Stone Cold Steve Aussie.
Did he
Austin?
Like where were they from in Texas?
I don't think he was from the Austin area. He spent time there. I think they might have been near Tyler.
Oh, okay.
Like I think they might have been near Tyler because they did know Bishop Strickland when we mentioned him.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just the Rupnik art, man. Oh, it was just
it's so ugly.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly. We also went to San Angelo. Okay. So all right. The way this trip went, it was just nonstop. So we would be up late drinking, and then we'd have to be up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and you'd have to get ready, you'd have to go have breakfast, and then you hit your tour. And we were doing 2 different tours a day. So you'd see one thing in the morning, take a bus ride, and then go see another thing. I think it was almost sensory overload. Like you forget that you went to places because you're seeing so much stuff. And I think I would have liked to slow it down a little bit and be able to contemplate some of the stuff and just sit and pray. We didn't have much free time during the day. They would give you like an hour and a half in between the things to go get lunch and kind of like stroll around. But like you spend 45 minutes, an hour having lunch, and you don't really have time to soak in the thing that you just saw,
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to listen to Rick's show with us while you were gone?
No. So I got through Keith and Michael Hitchborn so far.
So Rick was in Rome a week or two before you, actually. And they didn't do any tours or anything like that. They basically just chilled in Rome for however long they were there. And he said like that's how he plans on doing it in the future from now on, because he could just explore what and when he wanted and just take it all in. He said everywhere you turn was this little centuries old church with relics in it.
Yeah,
that you'd never find on a tour.
It was the greatest part was that there was no lines, like because of the time of year we went. The only downside was because of the Jubilee in 2025, a lot of the things are under construction for cleaning. So like we went to the Trevi Fountain and you couldn't really see the Trevi Fountain because it's being cleaned and there's scaffolding up and stuff like that.
They're excited for the gay pride that's going to be there, the gay pride parade.
There was a couple. Look, everybody that went on this thing got something from it, and there was a point where we were visiting St. Clair, and why did Anthony pronounce it as Jubilee?
Jubilee.
We were visiting St. Clair, and my wife just started crying uncontrollably. And
had you recently said something?
No, it was because of St. Clair. So look, we went and you see St. Rita first, and my wife was wondering which saint she was going to get a devotion to on this trip, like, because the whole trip was about the saints, man. Like you see how these things bring the Catholic faith to life in a way that you don't see in America because we just don't have exposure to it. And we go to St. Rita first. Now, St. Rita, she was married. Her husband dies, or he gets killed, and she has 2 sons, and she's worried the sons are going to go and avenge the father. So she's a mother, and she winds up becoming a nun. So my wife thought she would wind up having a devotion to her, and she winds up
assuming you get killed randomly, which is potential. Yeah,
New York
makes sense. She has to become a nun. Yeah.
She ends up just having this emotional experience with St. Clair, and she's just crying uncontrollably, and she was mortified, dude. Like, she was just so embarrassed. She didn't want anybody to see her crying. And Bobby caught it from like the corner of his eye, and he saw it. And Bobby went and bought her a book on St. Clair. So it was a really beautiful thing.
Nice. Listen, did your kids go with you?
No, just me and Nicole.
Hey, that's cool.
There was another couple there that they were a few years older than us, but they have like the same exact scenario. Like, they had 3 kids. Just so many similarities between us and Tara and Jason. And Jason had come on the trip. I'm pretty sure Tara's like very devout Catholic, and she kind of talked Jason into coming. I don't know if she had to drag him, but like when she first mentioned it, he was a little hesitant to go, and she talked him into coming. And I think this trip, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I think this trip,
I don't want to speak for him, but hold on.
I'm going to
speak for him.
I don't want to speak for him, but I'm about to speak for him. Being around Catholics who actually believe the faith and aren't weird, and some of the questions he had were about the Eucharist, and he just opened up to us one night, and just because I think when we first got there, I think he was very guarded, and he didn't want to let anybody know that like he had doubts about stuff, right? So he actually isn't a confirmed Catholic. So he was going up and just kind of with his arms crossed and getting blessed during communion and stuff like that. And nobody really picked up on it. I didn't know if maybe he just wasn't receiving for some reason or something. But he just opened up to us one night about some of his doubts and stuff. And then we were able to have conversations about the Eucharist. It was just such a beautiful trip to just be Catholic, where by the end of it, Nicole had said to me, she's like, I never understood why you were so like insistent on the history of Catholicism. Like, why are you so insistent on like studying these things that happened throughout history and knowing like, medieval Catholicism? Like, why? She's like, but seeing the things that she saw just brought the faith home to her. And she like, now, dude, if you knew the Catholic art she's hanging around the house, I'm like, what is going on with this woman?
Whoa. She's hanging it?
Yeah. Well,
she's not
putting nails up.
You're not waiting 30 days to hang it for her?
I haven't hung anything yet, but she's putting stuff up all over the place. The last night we were in Florence, before I start showing you guys some of the stuff we saw, the last night we were in Florence was a Saturday night, and we were all going to be traveling on Sunday. And we weren't going to be able to go to Mass on Sunday. So we had to find a vigil Mass, which was a Novus Ordo, which
anticipatory, not vigil.
I know. I'll tell you one thing before I even get into that.
What?
There was one thing that was very irking, was seeing the new Mass in these ancient churches. It just doesn't belong.
1000%.
It just does not belong. It's a fish out of water. It does not belong. It these beautiful holy sites deserve a liturgy fit. I mean, they were designed with the traditional liturgy in mind when they made them. All those beautiful high altars. I mean, when you see Loreto and you see the modern altar that's out in front of that marble screen, it's just very off-putting. There's also in Loreto, there's an exhibit that the Americans paid for, and they started it in the 1950s but finished it in 1970 after the council, and it has a spaceship in it, and it has
that's what you meant by it. Yeah,
it has Sputnik, not Rupnik, Sputnik. The freaking Russian dog. I got Rupnik on the mind. Dude, this thing is just so out of place.
Hold on. I think you sent a picture of that.
you sent a picture, but I didn't know what you were talking about when you sent it.
If you zoom in on it,
you
see there's a spaceship that has Paul VI and John Paul II on the spaceship.
Oh my God.
Where?
Do you see the spaceship on the right there? Can you zoom in on that, Rob?
Oh, yeah, I can.
You see the
Right
spaceship
on the right-hand wall.
and the upper right hand?
Hold on. What is going on? That's too big. Put him in a new tab here.
It was so out of
where?
place.
Right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the bottom right is Sputnik, the Russian dog that went up in the spaceship.
Okay, number one, Sputnik was the satellite. The dog, I forget the dog's name, but it wasn't Sputnik.
I think the dog was like Lila or something. But
Laika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know my Russian history. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know my space lore.
And at least there's like a semi-traditional like nativity right there, at least, I guess.
This was just out of place compared to the other stuff that was there.
Well, yeah, because the altar right there looks like it's out of the 15th century, but everything else looks like it's out of the 70s.
Let me see. Let me just see. Rob, do you see the man, this is gonna be hard to find. Let me see.
No,
I
can pull up your Twitter images. Because you posted a lot more pictures on Twitter.
I don't think I posted this one.
Yeah, but you were also drinking and posting, so who knows?
All right, wait. Let me think.
Hold on. Did you buy that ring?
Which one?
The one you.
This one. No, I didn't get that one because that one was 260 euros.
Ooh, ouch!
Which was a big hit. But my wife and I did buy matching Marian rings because I don't have a wedding band.
Really?
Like my original wedding band doesn't fit me anymore. I was 22 when I got married. It only fits my pinky, if that. I don't even know if I could get it on my pinky. So I wanted to get a ring while I was there, and we wound up finding. I'll send a picture of that. We wound up finding these really nice matching rings like that. I think I posted it in this other chat. Hang on.
Oh, Leica was launching a separate spacecraft. That's right.
Yeah, Leica was a couple years later.
Yeah, it was like three official. It was like test with Sputnik, then Leica the dog, and then I forget the guy, but he just went into space. And then went back down.
Poor Leica, man. She got cooked by radiation.
She did. She was a Japanese hot dog.
Yeah, I'm sending the rings. I just sent the rings. They were just rings but these were 150 each, so I was able to get two of them for 300 instead of just that one for 280. It was like I got these two for the same price that one would have been.
Two for the price of one.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Oh, those look cool.
And we wound up getting them blessed when we were in Florence the last day. The priest blessed them for us.
First barbecue in space.
Oh, wow,
oh, man!
It's bad when Sean thinks your joke went too far, Nick.
I think that you just need a little bit thicker skin. That's all I'm gonna say. So,
all right,
I'm
Rob,
surprised I'm surprised no one's called out my title under my name yet. Like nobody.
Oh, what does it send all Italians back to Mexico?
We're calling up Trump to deport you.
I was like, man, nobody.
I don't always read it because I forget that you change it every time.
I made it extra offensive for tonight.
Why don't you show the first video I took, Rob? The San Angelo, because San Angelo, this place, man, I could have spent a week in this place. It was the first video I sent. It was just the castle. There's a few of the highlights from the trip I want to play. Like, don't play the audio because you're just gonna be heavy breathing.
I ran up on a lot of the video.
I ran up 500 steps to take this. But look at how stunning this place was, man. You can't explain what you're seeing when you see it. It's just this giant castle up in the middle of nowhere. No, I'm just heavy breathing. I'm telling you, it's just. And then let's do the Holy House Loretto video. I'll take you guys through that one. Like, this is the holy screen. The marble screen in front of the Holy House was just so beautiful. And Julius II built this, or he commissioned it. Julius II commissioned it. And even this, like, the line to get in to see the Holy House, like, typically there would be 20, 30,000 people at this place.
That dome.
And yeah, it was just like absolutely beautiful.
This is just what makes like the modern Catholic humanism, as I call it, just so infuriating, because it's like goodness gracious, these are beautiful. Like, these are literally acts of worship that are literally forever until Christ comes back in stone, and yet we're pretty much just being like, yeah, let's just build like a weird bowl-shaped square and call it an altar. We're good to go.
Nick, the hardest part is that these men are in Italy and they see this stuff, and they see people and tourists are coming from around the world to come and see the beauty, and their idea is felt banners to replace it. Like,
I know, it's so
like
cheap.
You have to really understand how diabolical that is.
For real.
That they think they know better. But people from all around the world, even if they're not Catholic, want to come and see this stuff because it is absolutely stunning. Like,
it's like that saying that tradition is the democracy of the dead. And modern man is just so full of hubris that we forget that.
So true.
We know better. It's up
full
to
of
us,
hubris.
Even
the Protestants who are like, they just don't grasp what we're doing in the art, right? The art is, it shows you what a faith inspired by God can create, right? So, okay, go down to the Duomo di Orvieto, the picture, the still picture, and just show that first picture, the Duomo di Orvieto picture. You guys have to see the detail, and I'm going to show you the close up, and then we'll back up so you see what this is. This is the damned. Right? You see the damned in hell. Okay, now click the next picture and you start to grasp how big this is. Like, okay, so you still don't really see how big this is. So it starts with the damned, and that's the tree of life. Doesn't it look like a DNA strand?
Kind of, yeah.
It does.
Looks like a DNA strand. This is made in what, the 10th century, 11th century?
And then I'm assuming it's like Christ the King in judgment at the top.
Then go down to the next one, Rob, and look at this. Look at this. This is Eve being created from Adam's rib. Okay? This, when I tell you how big this is up the whole column of the church. It's gigantic, but it has the entire Old Testament, starting from Genesis, and it takes you through Cain murdering Abel, and it shows you the Middle Ages. You have people who are illiterate, and they come to the church and they actually get the scripture in stone. And you see the amount of detail that goes into these things. And it took 300 years for them to build this thing. And you just think about how much the people who to think 300 years down the road, like, my kids won't see it, my grandkids won't see it, my great grandkids won't see it, but we're going to put our hearts and soul into this and build something to God. It was so incredible to really see a properly ordered civilization and how disordered we are now. I'm telling you. So go to the next video and you kind of get a grasp of how big the scope of this thing is. This. So can you make that bigger? Yeah.
That's it.
Like this thing is gigantic. So you see the
this,
pillar
right here?
Yeah, that's where you're looking at. Like,
Wow.
and look at the people when so you could get like an idea of scale. It is gigantic. Like those little statues that you're looking at are all like 3 feet big each. They're just incredible. And then the next picture is the Pietà in the Duomo.
Which
And
Duomo? The
this
Duomo
Duomo
Orvieto.
in Orvieto. And I kind of want you to see this Pietà that's there.
Now this isn't the Pietà, right?
It's not the Pietà. It is a Pietà. And there's something about this that you need to really see the detail in it to understand why I think I like this one better.
First of all, looks like we got Confucius up there. Just gonna say that.
Okay, so that's Nicodemus.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now look in his hands. He's holding the tool that removed the nails and the nails. Okay. So if you really understand right now, Mary is looking like, look what they've done to my son. And then you have Mary Magdalene holding Christ's feet. She has his hand in one hand and then his foot in the other. Nicodemus's face. Okay, so the whole
you have the crown of thorns down here, it looks like.
Crown of thorns. The whole statue is shiny because Mary, Jesus, and Mary Magdalene all had faith in Christ. Nicodemus had that doubt, right? And when Christ talks to him, he just, like Jesus has to sit there and tell him, like, unless you're born again, you cannot enter the kingdom. So only Nicodemus's face is not shiny. You can't see it in the picture so much, but when you're in front of it, his face is like matte, where all the rest of the statue is shiny because they've been.
Oh.
Dude, there's something so beautiful about this statue. The thing is, the real Pietà has Mary's face still. So, yeah. But it was just very different. And I thought the nails and the tool to remove the nails was just such an interesting thing to see. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you guys is the Last Judgment. And this is Luca Signorelli. I believe.
You're the Italian.
I believe it's Luca Signorelli. Bobby, if you're in the chat, you have the book. Tell me if I'm right on that.
Boom, 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 boom.
See if you can make that big. Okay, so look at the image there, right? The image is the Antichrist right there, right? You see, I'm pointing at the screen like everybody can see what I'm pointing at.
Yeah, right there.
Right here.
No. The Antichrist is on the stone, and
right here.
Yeah, that's the Antichrist, and the devil is sliding his arm in his sleeve. There.
Oh, I've seen the close up of that. Yeah.
I think I might have put a close up in there of it so you could see it, but it's just when you walk in and see this. I think I did, right?
Nope.
That's not the close up. This is the next one, I think.
Nope, it's not in there.
No, it's right there. You just covered it. Right there, that.
Oh, okay.
So you see that? Like, look at that scene, man. You can't understand how big this is unless you see it. But when you walk in, every single person that we were with saw this and they were like, it put the fear of hell in you. It put the fear of hell in you. So look, there's the holy sacred vessels from the temple were misused and they're broken on the floor. Can you see them?
Oh, yeah.
Below this. All I could think about seeing this was the Novus Ordo liturgy.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
The sacred vessels being mistreated and the Antichrist is sitting there. I'm telling you, this whole scene just completely, Luca Signorelli. Just completely struck me when I saw this, man. It was, I don't know. I couldn't get that we are in these times out of my head. So if you go through the video on this side of the ceiling, you have the resurrection of the damned. Now up top, I think those are Bible stories, but that other arch there is the resurrection of the damned. Then as you go around to the other side, you get the resurrection of the living. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think
you see it's like brighter in a
it's
way.
brighter, and you actually will see the people rising from their graves. But you'll have, look at the top above the window. That's Christ, right? Even the way the window is positioned, pointed right at Christ, at the light. Now on this right wall, on the wall to the right, I think I put it in the other video, is where you'll see the resurrection of the saved. But it's hard. It's hard. Oh man, I didn't want to send you guys too much, because like, who the hell wants to watch my videos? But it just was. There were just some things that were just so absolutely stunning. You kind of had to see them. Like, look at that altar. There was also a Eucharistic miracle at this church. So right there, you see the last battle of the apocalypse there. And then as it scrolls right, wait till you see it, as it scrolls right, you'll see the bodies coming up out of their graves.
Oh yeah.
Dude, this was so absolutely beautiful, man. It just, I don't know. It just, I'm not like a big art guy, but something about seeing the souls that were moved to make these things, and it kind of put all the stuff we're going through in perspective. I'm telling you, it made me feel like I don't really care about Francis. I don't care about any of it. I never felt so deeply in love with my Catholic. I came home from work. I came home and had to go to work the next day. And I went into work and everybody's like, oh, you got to be sick to be back here. And I'm like, honestly, I'm so full of life. Like, I just feel like so invigorated. I couldn't wait. I used it as an opportunity to like explain the faith to people and kind of talk to the guys at work that were asking me about the trip. And I was just even explaining the idea of the kingdom of heaven colonizing earth, right? That we are the inheritance of these things that I went and saw. Like, it's not for the wealthy. It's not for the prestigious. Like, it's for us schleps. We get to go. It really is. Our art is a catechism, and it shows you. Like, when I'm watching the Protestants getting on me about the stuff I'm posting, I'm like, your faith does not inspire someone to do something like this.
No, and if they're being honest with themselves, deep down, they were like I was whenever I went inside a cathedral in Spain, in Barcelona. I was a Protestant, but I was just like, I remember thinking distinctly, how can a church which is so false build such beautiful images to God? Like, even if you're all anti-images and all that, you can't help it because you're made for beauty.
It's like, I just don't see how anybody could go and see this stuff and not
Be moved. Yeah.
move to the point of seeing like what inspired someone to make this. I posted a picture of the Pietà, and somebody said I can see the Pietà and I just see it as a piece of art. It's about grief. It's not about God. It's like, no, that's like actually factually wrong. It's about the death of God and the agony and the grief of what we killed God. And the agony and the grief on Our Lady's face. She knows he's going to rise. She knows he's coming back. Her grief and her heartbreak is that we killed pure love. Like, we killed love itself, and it had to just crush her like that. Like, people can't. How do you see that and not get that the thing that made him build it and carve it and sculpt it was love? Like, it was
hardened heart. That's how.
It's so nuts.
Yeah.
The atheist, man, like how you miss out on some of the things that are most important in this life. The last couple of things I posted were from Florence. I posted a video of just the last mass in Florence. So play the clip from the last mass, and then I have to tell you what happened at this mass. It was like, you're not even gonna believe this, Nick. When you hear this, you're gonna bug.
Probably will.
This is after mass. Okay, so this is the choir. They were a visiting choir from England. Okay, we didn't have a priest with us. for this trip, and it was kind of like threw the trip off a little bit because having a chaplain for the trip. Rob, do you remember when we went to Pennsylvania how much different the trip was because we had Father Nix with us?
Yeah.
Like to have daily mass and to be called to, hey, it's rosary time, to be called to, hey, let's it's time to pray. It constantly, like, as much of the bonding experience that goes on, it becomes a retreat as opposed to just boys hanging out, you know?
Mhm.
So this was definitely not just boys hanging out. We did have an element of bonding at the end of every single day. For those females on the altar, and Anthony didn't run out. There was no females on the altar. Oh, wait, there might have been it was a Novus Ordo. But
he just meant in the choir there. That's all.
But there were women in the choir, obviously. But so we go into this church. Okay, so first off, we know we have to travel on Sunday, so we're like, we have to go to mass. You don't want to miss mass. Let's just find a local visual mass just to at least fulfill our obligation.
Anticipatory mass.
So okay, that'll work.
Well, they're not vigil masses.
Well, we had to fill our obligation. We were traveling the next day, so we looked up a few different places, and we just settled on this church. We get there, and on the outside, it's just a very mediocre church. Like, it doesn't look like anything. We walk inside this church. I'm going to send you a few pictures that I didn't put in the thing because you kind of got to see this. There's a relic from the Holy Sepulchre, the tomb where Christ rises, right? So you walk in and you see that. There's a painting there's a fresco to St. Michael the Archangel slaying Lucifer and God the Father above him, but God the Father's face is blurred because you're not supposed to actually paint God the Father. It's actually, you're not supposed to do that. Which in the beginning of the trip, when we saw the Sistine Chapel, I was trying to explain that to the other pilgrims, and it got into not an argument, but like a conversation between me and Patrick about discussing, is it appropriate to paint the face of God the Father? And then when we went to Florence, the girl in Florence, the tour guide, was like, no, this is actually a big debate during that time. Like, are you actually supposed to paint God the Father? It's, it was, some people considered it blasphemous and stuff. So it wound up being a similar conversation what we had. Then on the right-hand side, right to the right of the altar, there was a fresco to St. Anthony Abati. It was like, dude, it's our last day there. I watched my wife cry at St. Clair's tomb. I watched Bobby have a moment when he I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. Bobby touched when we saw that Pietà at the Duomo, the one I just showed you. Bobby touched Christ's foot with the nail in it, and from that point, he had this intense pain in his foot, and he, like, the whole trip he was limping and like hobbling around. Then when we went to this church in Florence, he was hobbling for days, dude. I'm telling you. There was another statue of Christ on the floor, and he touched the foot again, and his foot stopped hurting. It was just a very, the amount of coincidences that happened for us to end up at this church. The priest gives the homily. Yes, there is. It's St. Anthony of the Desert, actually. So like,
the Italians just have to be different.
Abati is just abbot, right? So St. Anthony of the Desert, which is the father of Western monasticism. Dude, the other thing, we went to the Benedict, like the original first Benedictine
you went to Monte Cassino.
Monte Cassino.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at Monte Cassino, during World War II, like, so much of it was bombed, but there were like segments that are still the original and stuff. Bro, we went to Monte Cassino.
You know who bombed it?
We were, we did, the Americans, thinking that there were Germans in there, or claiming that we thought Germans were in there. It was really just to destroy the freaking thing.
Yeah, probably.
So we go there. We had the place to ourselves. We were the only tour group there.
Really?
Rob, there were so many times where we were the only group there.
Wow.
It was so unbelievable, like, how many places we went to, and we were the only ones there. Even the Duomo in Orvieto, we were pretty much the only ones there. I can't tell you how many times that happened where there was just no tourists. We had the place to ourselves. We just got to walk around. Yeah, I don't think I would ever go back to Italy any other time but December.
I was having the same thought, Jim. Everyone fled hearing Anthony was coming.
So yeah, it was just to go there and even see like the first Benedictine monastery. Like it was just beautiful. Oh, so much of it. All right, so Florence. So the priest, because that's an English choir that was visiting, the priest spoke Italian and English, and he gave half his homily in Italian, and then he speaks English. And when I heard he spoke English, I'm like, I'm bothering this guy, right? So after mass, he goes to walk out. I'm like, no, Father, we got to talk. I'm like, listen, we're here on pilgrimage. Our priest wasn't able to make it. I'm like, none of us have been able to go to confessions or any way you could hear our confession. That priest stayed with us for an hour after mass and heard every single person's confession that wanted to go. And then blessed mine and Nicole's rings before we left. One other coincidence that happened, we had Adrian, my friend Adrian, that was with us from Manchester. My dude, you think you can't understand the things I say? Adrian from Manchester. We're at one point, we're out, and he's talking to the tour guy. The tour guy just looks at me and goes, I don't know what you're saying. It's as if you swallow half your words or half your letters. Just like you just keep swallowing half your letters. I don't even know what you're saying.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, none of us can understand him. But when he would speak in a Texas accent, because the Texas group was there, that was the only time we could understand them. So Adrian was from Manchester. The priest was from Manchester, Ohio. So it was just like one more little coincidence. And through all this, Anthony didn't bring the GoPro. No, I had it. I just didn't interview anybody. I should have.
We're done with him. We had 4 shows with good guest hosts. We don't need him anymore.
I fully agree.
Don't blame you. I should have. Yeah. So look, all in all, it just was. It was an experience that if I had known, the spot St. Benedict, oh my gosh, like St. Benedict falls and lands on a stone, and the stone became soft as a pillow, and his arm just kind of like, so the stone, you could go there and lay your arm in the stone where the stone softened for his arm to hit. Yeah, he was like an old man, and he just collapsed and fell, and his arm fell into the stone. There was so many things, man. We have to do another Pennsylvania trip, Rob, because I have to get Bobby and Adrian and Kanomi and little Patrick together. Little Patrick lives in like 10 minutes from me. He lives in Babylon, ironically. Yeah, Babylon, Long Island. It's in Babylon, Long Island. So him, I'm gonna probably drag to mass with me on Sunday. I know I'll see Patrick, but we have to. Oh, it was Manchester, New Hampshire, not Ohio. Manchester, New Hampshire. So what me and Bobby were thinking is we'll do my uncle's house, and we'll drag Bobby's brother Sean there and force him to go to mass, and because he's probably listening. So Bobby's driving to Arizona with his brother Sean right now. So we're gonna have to figure something out about him. We might have to force convert him. I don't know. Are we allowed to do that?
Just don't call it proselytizing, and Francis is okay.
I say with all the other rules getting broken, we can break that one.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Just force baptize him or something.
You can do it as long as he then goes and gets a gay blessing immediately.
Oh man, Bobby got me to buy a fedora. He was calling it fedora supplicans. We did look pretty gay with our fedoras on. We were wearing them the whole time. Dude, my wife loved this hat. She wanted me to wear it every single day. The last day, I freaking forgot it in Italy. She wants to kill me. She is so mad at me. I left that hat in Italy, man. If I had known that going in December was going to be as empty as it was, if I had known that it was going to be what it was, but there's no way to know. Like I would have, like Nick, you should have been on that trip with us. Like
yeah, it would have been interesting. It would have been interesting.
You should have been on this trip with us. It was so amazing, man. Like everything about it was just so unbelievable. So look, here's what I'm thinking to take away from it. I think we need to do a deep dive into saints.
I agree.
And try to so the purpose of titling the episode this is because there was actually, I think I posted it in there, right? There was a little booklet that we got about Saint Stephen while we were there. And it talked about worshiping Saint Stephen. So, did I put it in it? Yeah. It's like highlighted in red.
Yeah, let me find it.
Oh, interesting.
So it
My
says,
brother is losing it right now.
Yeah, we're thinking we're just gonna kidnap him and bring him fedora supplicants. We don't want your Canadian fake money, Kanomi. He said that it's 10 Canadian. It's not even real.
We're about to be instated. Okay.
I'm kidding. We appreciate it. All right. So it says the worship of Blessed Simon, not Stephen. Blessed Simon began long before
Simon of Trent.
No, this was so this is Blessed Simon had to do with Saint Rita, but Blessed Simon was a priest who the Eucharistic miracle happened to. So he was performing mass, and it wasn't a typical Eucharistic miracle where he was doubting, but it's not a typical miracle where the host bled. It's like the image of Christ is in the host or something. It's a very unique Eucharistic miracle. We saw 3 Eucharistic miracles while we were there. They were all very intense, very emotional experiences to go and see. And it was really cool because Jason was struggling with the Eucharist, and the whole trip was kind of focused on the Eucharist. And so, but the worship of Blessed Simon began long before its approval in 1833 at the behest of Pope Gregory the 16th. His feast day is on February 16th. The idea that we can't say we worship the saints annoys me.
It should.
It's a very different kind. It's not worship due to God, but it is our language is very Catholic apologetics oriented towards Protestants.
Our language is Protestant.
Our language is Protestant. We have a very sola scriptura way of seeing the world. And when you go and see the ancient faith like this, you don't care about sola scriptura. You just want to see the faith in action. Like you want to see a culture rebuilt by the actual Catholic faith. And you also realize that whatever the hierarchy is doing now, whatever this liturgy is not going to be the thing that does it. I mean, you see the things that this liturgy inspires. You see the things that the current catechism inspires. We need to go back to restore what inspired the people to build the things that we saw. So I'm thinking we should do a series on the saints, and I don't know if we should each study the same saint 1 week and then do a deep dive into it, or if you think one of us should take the episode for the week and kind of lead it, however you guys want to do it. But I want to bring the saints back to life. I want people to understand why we venerate saints, and I want people to love the saints because that is what brings the faith to life.
So one, we have talked about doing a series of readings from the Golden Legend. So this could either be a part that could be a part of like this or separate. And 2, we could do it a different way. I would imagine at this point, I probably don't have any of my family or Hope's family watching. So most of you who follow me on Twitter probably know that we're expecting again.
Congratulations, by the way. That's amazing.
Really hope my mom's not watching this because we're not telling them until we
see them.
Until we.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that in case. Yeah, you're actually not supposed to do that too early. Yeah.
But anyways, we could do so. Like we are eventually going to find out the gender, but we could try to find a saint to name my child after.
That would be awesome.
That could be kind of fun.
If it's a boy, I think you should go Saint Anthony. But anyway.
I have no. You know what? I'm done.
You know, there is a Saint. There is a Saint Nicholas. Rob, Saint Nicholas is pretty cool.
No, sorry guys. So far, let's see. Hold on. What do we have on the list so far? So far, we have Sebastian, because we could nickname him Bash. And knowing my child, that makes
Dude,
sense.
don't do the trad Catholic thing where you give them 6 names.
No.
Don't do that. I know what all
do
the
the-
trads
do
do.
Why would I?
Like,
You
First
must
of all,
do
I'm
the-
not Mexican, so settle down.
all the new trads, they're like they'll name him Sebastian, Augustine, Ignatius. Like,
No,
it's like
so-
they give him like
so
6 different names.
It would be
That's a good
3
name,
names.
Hieronymus.
It'd be 3 names at most because we're going to pray to Saint Gerard to intercede, and traditionally you would, for a girl like with Philomena, one of her middle names is Mayella, Saint Gerard Mayella. If we have a boy, one of his middle names would be Gerard. But we have Sebastian, Dunstan, Saint Dunstan. We have Aiden and Blaze so far on the list for boys, and for girls we have Anastasia and Ethelwyn so far.
Stop it. Don't do that to your kid.
What?
Because you have people like
You're
answering this
sick. You're
world.
gonna name your kid Ethelwyn.
Well, her nickname would be Win or Winnie.
Do that to that poor child. You gotta be kidding me.
I call you Ant.
I know.
Ant, a bug.
I'm only kidding, by the way. It's actually a beautiful name. I just think it's funny. Like the new trad thing to do. It's like, find this name that hasn't been used since the year 300 just to
Oh, you
everything
should
in
hear
the
the
culture.
list. You should hear the list of names that I've been told no to. Irenaeus, because you could call him Ira. Apparently, that's a no.
that
Ethelstan,
name.
that's a no. And that Basil, that's a no.
Yeah, you don't want to name your kid after something that could be mistaken for food.
That's
Ethel Wolfstan.
You should just. I mean,
Philston.
I didn't hear Thomas in there.
My dad's name was Tom. No.
Yeah, it's
Well.
just, dude. I have a bunch of books on saints that I'm gonna read.
If I was really English, if I was a true Englishman, I would name him Muhammad.
No.
Exactly. Britain Stan.
Well, Rob already has a Philomena.
Yeah.
I guess I need to know all your kids' names, Rob, so that I don't like to start throwing out names that are already used.
Matthias,
this is actually probably his kid's name.
Well, so what's funny is so
just do the
Iggy's
Roman
name,
canon. The
Iggy
Roman
is
canon can be your
Ignatius
child's name.
Ambrose. Iggy's Ignatius Ambrose, actually. So
Just have one kid be literally just the Roman canon, and just do all the names in the Roman canon, and that's their name.
yeah.
Okay, so so we can never hope to be perfect like Christ, but we can relate to the very flawed and human saints and find the hope to reach for Christ. I have to say something. Okay, so Bobby's Eastern Catholic, so he goes to a Byzantine.
I'm
liturgy.
sorry.
Rip.
He
We're called Roman for a reason.
It's not that like him and I have like we I'm not meant to explain.
Oh, brother.
Him and I had so many good conversations just about why you two are nuts. While we were there.
Why who are nuts?
Why you and Nick are nuts, and
Why are we nuts?
We're Latin right supremacists. Or at least I am, but-
No, Bobby has a really good way of like explaining things, and it was so much fun to freaking talk with him, man. I'm like, we're all like everybody that you make lifelong friends on these things, man. Like, it's not, you don't just go away with people and spend that kind of time together and that kind of bonding and just that's it. See you guys later. We'll never talk again. Like, you feel like you lost family when they go home, you know. It's a hard thing to say goodbye when you spend 2 weeks together, and some of those moments were in tears, man.
I spent 4 days with you, Pennsylvania, and saying goodbye was easy.
I know it's a little different.
I'm joking.
I needed a few more days with you. A few more days with you, and I would have grown on you, Rob. I promise. No, we have to actually figure that out, though, Rob. It's going to be after Easter because look, coming up after Christmas, you have Lent coming up. I want it to be after Easter.
Hey, don't forget about February, man.
February, we got to do that weekend in North Carolina. But I think we should do after Easter. We should do like a 4-day thing together again up at Al's house, and I want to get some people there, man. Like,
let's not plan anything for August. I'll be busy.
Is that when? She's due. You thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. No, let's do it. Right. I think we should do it in the spring, like right after Easter. I think it would be a good time.
Okay.
So, and maybe we'll open up a few spots to the public on that. Ideally, man, I would love to know if we could pull off some kind of thing with our channel and do something like this, because
We pull off lots of stupid things with our channel. What are you talking about?
That's what I mean. But like if we could get a group big enough and we plan it far out enough,
yeah,
we say 2026 and just tell people, okay, look, 2026, we're going to go do this thing. Like, can we all say and go to the Holy Land?
That'd be
amazing.
epic.
Would that be?
That'd be
like,
epic, actually.
Let's make sure it's still in existence.
Well, so Bobby was going to come. Bobby was going to go to the Holy Land. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what he does, so I won't. But Bobby has a job where like the government wouldn't let him go. Bobby's a Fed. Bobby was sent on this trip to find out my plans to overthrow the government.
The RTC's converted him.
So all right. Well, before we get off,
so we Anthony and I are speakers at a. Well, it's a men's conference.
It's a men's conference.
Is it the Charleston Diocese like men's conference, something like that? We should really know this stuff, but it's going to be in. Is it Charlotte? No, Charlotte. It's going to be in Charlotte, February 8th and 9th, I think.
Before we get off, okay, I'm going to plug again the Catholic Layman, David's channel. He also does, if you're into music, he has Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. Those are his 2 YouTube channels. I had such a great time with these people. We're going to go to locals tonight. So for anybody that's new checking us out, after the show on YouTube, we head over to locals. Drone started over Anthony's house after he met Bobby, just saying. So if you guys can, go subscribe to the Catholic Layman and also Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. I'll probably do something with David after the holidays. It's just the next few weeks. So what's our schedule? We're gonna do Thursday, and then I'm assuming Tuesday we probably won't do a show because Christmas Eve.
Probably not. Did you want to do on Monday?
I think you guys need a little time off, man. You guys have been at it.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to do a Monday, and you just don't want to say that.
No, I'm down. I just didn't want to put that pressure on you guys.
I have Tuesday and Wednesday off, obviously, so I could do something Monday if we want to.
All right, so we'll talk about that. We'll see. All right, we're gonna go over to locals. I want to talk about the drones, and I want to talk about. Did you watch any of that Mike Ben's interview?
Yeah, I watched it today.
Okay, I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about drones. And I know Nick is not going to like this, but I think Trump is going to be the disclosure president, and I don't like where some of these conversations are going, but we'll see. So
we will see.
If you guys are not already subscribed, please head over to locals. We are going to do the rest of our show over there. For everybody that came on the pilgrimage, if you're still in the chat, I loved you guys. I had an amazing time with you. I don't know if our show is a little too spicy for you guys. We will see going forward.
If you feel like it was too spicy up to this point, locals is way worse.
Just we ratchet up to 11.
We do talk about the people of the old covenant over there sometimes. So, all right, we're gonna head over to locals. Rob, take us out. We will see you guys on Thursday.